Okay, folks, just recently attended an FFF like banquet thing. They have a bunch of tires up there. They have a bunch of vendors up there, and it's in Madison, Wisconsin. It's every year towards the end of February. And I got to tell you, it was great seeing some new patterns that I've never gotten to see before. Speakers that are there, great deal. Well, I ran into this guy named Henry Kanemoto, and in the previous fly I just tied, I kind of highlighted his crystal UV coat. It's a tack-free cement. It's fast drying. There's no tack to it whatsoever. And he happened to be tying a pattern, an ant pattern, and I thought it was kind of cool. It's on a size anywhere from ant size, 12 to 16 or 18 hook, depending on what you want. And you're basically just going to go to a craft store and you're going to get a bag of black beads, red beads. I happen to be using red. You can get brown, that kind of stuff. You're making a terrestrial here. Many times people think that terrestrials, are just floating, but it's not always the case. This is going to be just a submerged ant pattern. It works really, really well. It works well for trout, bluegills, and just about any fish, but it's a small one. So basically what you're going to do first is you're going to take 2 red beads and you're going to feed them over the shank of the hook all the way to the front. You can use 1 if you're tying a real small one. Then you're going to do 2 black beads to the back. You're going to use 8/0 thread, and you're going to wrap the thread around the back, kind of creating a little bit of a hump. Okay, now what I do then is I take the black beads and I just put the thread around them and clump them tight together, tie them on as such. Okay, so those are rock solid now where they're at. And then I kind of leave a little bit of a gap, build up another little bit of a pouch there on the hook, and I take the red ones and I do the same thing with them. Wrap over them so it holds them down. Okay, make another little hump. You're going to wrap the thread all the way forward so you're not showing any of the hook. Okay. And then you're going to make yourself just a head, a lump up in the front with the thread. Obviously smaller than the beads in the back. Okay. You're going to half hitch it. Once you get the half hitch knots in there, or finishing knots, you're then going to cut the thread. Okay, you're thinking, okay, well, that's not quite done yet. And you're exactly right. You have a hook with some beads on it. Okay, and I wish I could get a little better show on here for you. The camera kind of doesn't want to zoom in on something that small, but that's what you should have. You're then going to take this crystal UV coat, and you're basically going to make that the body of the ant. You're just going to shape it around it. And so I'm going to take the brush out and just put a big old kind of glob on there, and you might have to do a couple of coats of this stuff. You're going to rotate it around. Anything that you can do to get the beads encased. Okay, and then what I usually will do is take and put a little more in the center. Get some to drip down in the center, so it kind of creates a segmented body. Okay. Once you've got that done, you're going to move forward to the red, and again encase it all in a big old kind of glob on there, but you're going to want to pay attention to how you're doing it. It's going to look kind of like glass when you're done. It's kind of cool. Put some on the bottom. Okay, so basically it's a segmented body, just like so. It looks like glass. You can't see the breaks and the beads anymore. It's pretty cool. Then what I do is I take my actual like head poker tool. Don't poke yourself. Careful, safety number one. And I put a big glob up here on the head as to make like a third segment to it, and kind of finish some of it back on the bottom and on the top. Basically your goal on this is to make almost like a third segment, but you want the whole hook and the thread and everything encased in this crystal UV coat. Once you've got that done, you have, i.e., this little guy right here. It's totally encased. It's got like three segments to it. You got a small, medium, and a large for the back thorax, front, middle, and then the front. Okay. Once you've got that done, you're going to put your thread back on in the center of the two. Scissors. And you're going to add a couple pairs of legs. Now I chose to use rubber for the legs, but you can use the crystal flash if you want in black, and you're just going to go around it here. Put them on the sides. It's going to be kind of tricky. I'm going to reposition them, and then you're going to pinch tight with the thread, go around it a couple of times, and it makes them kind of sprawl out, and you're going to finish it there. Okay. Once you've finished it, you can put a little more of that crystal UV coat on. Very, 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 very small amount, because you don't want to bridge that gap that you've made there for a segment, but you want that thread to, hold, so you can just put a little dabble on it. A little dabble on the bottom where you finished it off. Okay. And what you now have is kind of a cool little looking ant. And like I said, it's just going to barely submerge. It's not weighted, so it's not going to, go too far under the surface. But you could trim the legs down a little bit so that the front ones and the back ones kind of match. You could put another set on, so they're anatomically correct. I just put two little sets on, and when you use the thinner crystal flash, you can do it a little better. But that's in my opinion, the Henry Kanemoto ant, submerged ant. Again, I'll post his email address on the bottom. You can email him inquiring about the crystal UV coat. It's $15 a bottle. Like this bottle will last a long time. It's the size of a fingernail polish bottle. He also sells the nice lights, the lithium lights, and he also sells a little laser light, which you can use. This laser light makes it a little easier to get into small spaces with the UV. So that is the ant. And we'll catch you on the next fly.